Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be when you're seeing this video. If you're not seeing this video, then it really don't matter if it's morning, evening, afternoon, because you're not seeing it anyway. We're going to jump right in here because I got quite a bit. I'm gonna try to skip some of this and give you what happened in the middle, just for the sake of time and the sake of you having to listen to me read a bunch of scripture. But this comes from one of my favorite, I have a lot of favorite verses or passages, so to say, but this is one of my favorite books of the Bible. If you know much about me, or you've heard me talk much, or you've read some stuff I've wrote, this is one of my favorite books of the Bible, and it's not about the person whose name's in the book to me, but it is the book of Ruth. And the thought today is, do you have a faith that's worth following? So I'm going to read a couple of scriptures, give you a little summary of what happens, and then jump down to the one I want to get to. But starting in the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 1, it says, and I'll probably butcher some of these names, so just bear with me. It says, "Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled, that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehemjudah went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehemjudah. And they came into the country of Moab and continued there. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left, and her 2 sons. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. The name of one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth, and they dwelled there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them, and the woman was left of her 2 sons and of her husband." So we read, that's verses 1 through 5 in the book, chapter 1 in the book of Ruth. So we read that there's Elimelech. He has a family. He has his wife Naomi. He has his 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, if that's how you say their names. And a famine comes on the land, or into the land of Israel. So they go to Moab. While they're in Moab, Elimelech, the father, the head of the household, dies. His 2 sons get wives of the women of Moab, Orpah and Ruth. And they're there about 10 years living in the land, and they both die. So now there's Naomi, who's left with her 2 daughter-in-laws who were from Moab, who Moabites served a different God. They didn't believe in the God of Israel. They had their own gods. They had their own ways. They had all these great things. And then in verses 6 on down, we find that Naomi's basically telling them, look, I've heard that the famine has left Israel. There's no famine in our land anymore. I'm going back. I'm going back to my gods. I'm going back to my people. I've lost everything here. I've lost my husband, my 2 sons. Why don't y'all go back to your families? And it gets down here, and she gives them that, statement. And then picking up in verse 14, it says, "And they lifted up their voice and wept again," this being the 2 daughter-in-laws. "And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. And she said, Behold thy sister-in-law, Naomi, behold thy sister-in-law is gone back to her people and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law." And Ruth, this is verse 16, chapter 1, verse 16 of the book of Ruth. It says, "And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God shall be my God." And I look at that, and I see in that story here that we have Ruth, who was not raised in church, so to say, who was raised as a Moabite with these other gods and these other traditions and these other things. And she's come into this family, and here's this woman, Naomi, who she's watched for 10 years, who's lost her husband. She's lost both of her sons. She's living in a foreign land. She has nothing. But what she does have is a faith in God. Something in Naomi Ruth saw during all this time when the husband died, when the sons died. You're living in a foreign land. There was something in her she saw, and she knew, I don't know exactly what you have, Naomi. I might not completely understand it, but I've seen how you act when things get tough. I've seen your faith put into actions. And I'm going to go where you're going to go, because I want what you have. So then it comes to the question of, do we have a faith like Naomi? Does our faith show to the world something where when they look at us, they say, I don't know exactly what. Something's different about this dude. And I don't exactly know what it is, but whatever it is, I want that too. Okay, his family, he just got told he has cancer, but he's happy. He's hopeful. He's just lost, think of Job, he just lost his kids, he just lost his home, he just lost this. Your job just played out, or you just got fired, or laid off, or whatever it is, but he still has a hope. There's something, he's not given up. And I don't know why, because everything has come against him. He's having problems with kids. He's having problems with his marriage. His finances are a mess. He's got health problems. All these things, this is just the world looking at someone. All these things that could go wrong have gone wrong, but he still has hope. He still has peace. He still has joy. Where in the world is he getting this from? I don't understand it, but I want it. Does the world see that in us? Do we have that kind of faith? I think about raising children, and as Mike likes to call me, a youth pastor, and I say in Proverbs it says, raise up a child in the way you'd have him to go. It doesn't say raise up your child, it says a child. So we have a responsibility to all these other kids looking around at us. But I think about parenting kids, and things change over time. And the older I've got, I've started to realize that. What I, as a parent, was instilling and trying to show to my kids to build their faith when they were 7, 8, 9 years old is different than when they're teenagers. Parker and Lindsay now at 15 and 18. It's different now with Ashley, who's out married on her own. She has her own family, but I'm still trying to be something in her life and instill something in her life and live out my faith in front of her, and it matures over time. But the whole point is, I want to be a light, and I want my faith to show to them that whether they're 7, 8, 9 years old, teenagers, young adults trying to live this thing out on their own, they can look at me and say, I don't understand it all, but what he has, how he's taken on life, how he's taken on circumstances, how he's taken on what's been dealt to him, the good, the bad, the ugly. I want that. Because if everything's not going to go perfect in life. Let's get that out of the way. So when everything goes to pot and your health is horrible and you don't have the money, you don't have, your job's played out and all this, and people are looking at you to see how you respond, what are they seeing in us? Are they seeing a woe is me, or are they seeing us give glory to God? Like Job said, I came in naked, I'm going to leave naked. I don't deserve anything I have. I haven't done anything great. It's not by my works, but it's by my faith in God that I do have an ability to carry on. And that's the kind of people, the Naomis of the world, that I want around my kids. And when I say my kids, I mean Parker, Lindsay, Ashley. I mean my kids at church, the youth. If you're going to be like when Moses sent out the spies, he sent out 12 and 10 of them came back and said, we can't do it, it's too much, it's too bad. 2 said, we're well able. I don't want those 10 spies. I don't want the negative Nancy's of the world around my kids. The old saying of, if you ain't got anything good to say, don't say anything at all. That's how I want you to be around my kids. I want you to show them faith worth following. Not faith that you call on just when you need it, or faith that while I'm on the mountaintop, I'm full of it and I'm going to be praising the Lord. I want my kids to see when you're up on the mountain and everything's going great, praising the Lord. When you're down in the valley and it looks like everything's crumbling and falling apart, you're on your hands and knees still praising the Lord. I have a feeling that's what Ruth saw in Naomi's life during that 10-year period. There was something she saw. She didn't just say, "Oh, you've lost your husband and both your kids, and your life's miserable. I want to go be miserable with you." No, she said, "I want to go live where you live. I want to go worship where you worship. I want to go have your God be my God. When you die, that's where I want to die." And that's the kind of life we're called to live in front of others. So think about that today as you go about your day, or if this is late in the day when you get to work tomorrow. What are you portraying to the world? Are you showing a faith that other people won't? Or are you, when the bad things come, do you just throw your hands up in surrender and say, "I can't handle this, I can't do this"? And it's not easy, it's not fun. Nobody wants to go to a doctor and get the bad diagnosis. Nobody wants to get laid off from work. Nobody wants family problems. Nobody wants to. I don't plan on Amanda, having a note wrote out for me when I get home that says, "Done with you. We've been married 20 years. I'm tired. I'm done. Moving on." We don't want that. But those are realities and things that happen in life. And how are we responding? Are we living out faith? Are we showing that there's much more to this thing than what meets the eye? There's much more. It's not money. It's not home. It's not health. It's happiness that comes from knowing the Lord. It's happiness that comes through faith in Jesus Christ. And we live it out so that others who don't have what we have see it and want it. I think of sports. If your sports team's horrible and you're always complaining about them, why do I want to be a fan of them? That kind of thing. So today, make the decision to live out your faith in front of others who maybe don't have that faith, haven't been raised in church, or have been hurt by the church. Show them that there is a difference. You can be the difference in somebody's life by living it out in front of them day by day by day. You don't know that they're watching. You don't know that they're looking. But somebody's always watching. Somebody's always looking. And you can be the one to point them back to the one that we have faith in. Because it's not in me. I'll let you down. Man will let you down. But if we can show our faith is in so much more powerful. Our faith is in the one who created it all, put it all into motion, is the beginning and the end, the Alpha, the Omega, knows his thoughts towards us. He's not caught by surprise by anything that happens in our life. And he has, as Mike says, not just the cattle of 1,000 hills, he owns the 1,000 hills too. That's where my faith is, and I need to live as though that's where my faith is, and show others that when things aren't always good, it's still good. When everything's falling apart, God's still good and still worthy of my praise and still worthy of my service and my everything about me should point to Him, even in the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, ask yourself today, do you have a faith that's worth following? And if you don't, ask God to give you that faith. Get in the Bible, live it out day by day so that somebody else might be able to see God in you and see His good works and get that faith that they need to make it through. And I kind of rambled a little bit on that one, but we will close up there and have another devotion hopefully by next week. Love you all. Be bold, live out your faith, don't hide your gospel.